Are you ready to take control of your wealth and design the life you envision for yourself and your family? Welcome to Wealth of Insight with Austyn Whittenburg from Whittenburg Wealth Partners. Austyn guides you through the entire planning process to help you build a plan that seeks to protect your financial future. He empowers you with creative investment opportunities and planning ideas to help you understand and achieve your long-term goals. It's time to gain confidence in your financial future. Now, on to the show.
Welcome to the Wealth of Insight podcast with your host, Austyn Whittenburg, and a special guest, Dan Whittenburg. I'm Patrice Sikora, and in this episode, we're going to learn about Austyn and Dan from Austyn and Dan. But gentlemen, let me get things started here, and let's start with the basics. How did the two of you get into the business?
Well, thanks, Patrice. This is Dan. You'll find that Austyn and I sound quite alike, so I'll identify myself as such. To answer your question, this was by design, which doesn't always happen that way when someone comes into the financial services business. But in college at the University of Utah, I was a finance major, also have an MBA from there. And I worked for a financial planning software development company. This would have been back in the mid-'80s when fintech really was in its infancy. Anyway, as I had my experiences there working in the financial planning software business, it was clear to me that I would have a lot more fun on the people side than the tech side. When I finished my MBA in '89, I came right into the business then. So I've been doing this now a little over 30 years.
I had somewhat of a unique upbringing in that with a father who's a financial planner and a mother who's a CPA, our dinner conversations were about taxes and investments and all these things that I feel most people aren't probably talking about around the dinner table.
Probably not.
Yeah. And so really, as I went to college, also got a finance degree and thought, hey, I have this unique upbringing, maybe some unique insights and skills that don't get taught in the traditional education system. And I felt like joining my dad in his financial planning practice would be the best way to use some of those talents to help people who don't have the education in some of these basic financial topics.
Well, Austyn, why don't you lead us through an introduction in this episode to you and your dad? Tell us a lot more about you, your clients, what they experience, and then tell us a little bit more about you, and what you guys like to do.
All right. Let's start with what we do for our clients.
If you were to ask me what our elevator speech is, I'd say we're a wealth preservation firm. So what that means is as we work with clients, so many of them are business owners that put their wealth and take their risk in their business, that they come to us with the money that they don't want to have to make back again. Essentially, from an investment perspective, we are a wealth preservation firm, but we do comprehensive holistic planning. From a high level, we'll look at a client's situation on a cross-disciplinary basis. So not just from an investment perspective or insurance or tax or legal perspective, but across the board. And having, I think, that kind of perspective lets you identify where the gaps are and lets you identify where the opportunities are. And I think our clients would tell you that going through that process, that there's a significant difference between merely having that kind of planning done and having it done at its highest level. Not only are we able to save them money and help them preserve wealth, but we give them a very high degree of confidence in their planning that what they've done is correct and right.
I think so often we find that clients have done different things at different times with different advice. No one has been able to help wrap their arms around their whole picture and give them clarity in how this all works together and what it can mean for their future. We really try for our clients to give them that clarity and confidence that the path they're on is the path they want to be on, that their current situation aligns with their overall objectives. And if not, we can help them make the changes to get on that path. And I think that fits very well in our business philosophy. You know, there's a lot of taglines around the office we kick around, but one of the things that we keep coming back to is we want our clients to feel their very best when they're with us. There's so much noise in the world. Turn on the news or read the newspaper and stock market crashes and oil prices and all these things, all this noise that clients are being bombarded with constantly. And we want them to know that when they walk into the office, the noise can go away. They can feel a sense of comfort and feel their very best with us, knowing that their ultimate objectives are going to be accomplished. Dad, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the advanced education and other designations that you have?
I've been at this a while. At different times throughout my career, I've just felt like it'd be appropriate to add on a little bit to the education front, just to make sure that clients knew that we were staying current. So I am a certified financial planner. I did that back in 1987. Since then, I have gone through the accredited investment fiduciary designation process. That's been interesting, particularly as our industry has evolved to one of best interest. Just clients need to know that we have a duty of loyalty and a duty of care to always act in their best interest. And that's at the heart of the accredited investment fiduciary designation. And as our business has matured, we have had more business owner clients that have come to us seeking advice and help. Both Austyn and I have gone through the training to become certified business exit consultants. And that helps us work with business owners to help set their objectives and go through a process that eventually leads them to some type of exit, because 100% of business owners are going to exit one day. It's either going to be vertically or horizontally, and we want to make sure that they have a very planned exit so that it gets to success for them and their family. There's a number of things that we do to make sure that that happens. Those are the designations.
As he mentioned, I'm also a certified business exit consultant, and I also got my CFP designation, certified financial planner. And those are really some of the next steps. Education inside of our business is really important to us to make sure we're staying current and up to date on the latest laws and rules and markets, those types of things. And we really like to make sure we can relay that to our clients. Education and educating our clients is a major part of what we do. We never want our clients to feel like it's the Wizard of Oz and there's a man behind the curtain pulling strings, but that they're heavily involved in the process, that everything is laid out for them. They're aware of whatever is going on and that they're really in control. At the end of the day, it's their goals, it's their money, their business, and they're in control. We can just help them accomplish those objectives. So we try to educate and present many options to our clients and allow them to choose the best one that fits their situation the best.
This isn't all about money, but it's a lot about trust. But also there are a couple of tools that we use to really help someone have a framework for more purposeful living, to help somebody get a sense for really what they're going to do post-retirement. And I guess we should address why we do what we do. I think at the heart of it is love. I believe that work is love made visible. We try to make sure our clients know that we love them and have them feel that. One of the tools that we use in that process is what's called the Walkaway Passport. And this is just a simple assessment, takes about 5 minutes. It ultimately helps somebody figure out really what's important to them. Are they where their mindset is, and helps us as advisors expand the conversation beyond money to their wellness and their estate planning documents and their longevity and things they care about and what their purpose is and so forth. One of the other tools we use is a tool that's called the Framework for Purposeful Living. And this is just a simple set of questions to help someone understand that they need to be retiring to something rather than from something. Very often, it's easier to make a decision if you know where you're going, to walk through these 11 questions that deal with their health activities and intellectual stimulation and recreation and so on. Once they get clarity on where they're going, it's easier for them to make decisions around selling their business, for example, or even how to invest.
All right, and before we move on to a little bit more about things we like to do outside of work, I thought it makes sense to just talk briefly about the other members of our team. Inside of our firm, there's my dad and myself as the financial advisors. We have Rick Gallagher, who is our head of financial planning, our director of financial planning, and he's supported by John McKenzie. Rick is a CFP as well as a CPA, and John also has his CFP designation. So as clients are coming in and as we're building these comprehensive plans, we lean heavily on Rick and John and their expertise. You also have Liz Lines, who's my client service leader, and then Katie Nagahi, who serves primarily as my dad's client service leader.
Well, and yet we also should not forget our CFO, Terry Whittenburg, CPA. Yes, she is related. And then also we have our marketing specialist, Emily Motzkus, and she's a PhD in creative writing. There's high level of education everywhere you look.
Throughout the client experience, you have clients have a chance to interact with everybody on the team to make sure they know everybody there and who to reach out to for specific needs. Dad, tell me a little about when you're not working, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, the list is long and distinguished. We're avid sports fans. We love college and NFL football and try to do some of that together as a family. I have some personal hobbies that include mountain biking and hiking. I also do some work I have a glass studio. I enjoy cutting and melting glass and seeing what happens. That's a go-to hobby that's very relaxing and rejuvenating. That's probably enough of that. I mean, there are more, but that's enough of that.
And I have 2 young boys at home, 8 and 6. So most of my days after work are spent having lightsaber fights or jumping on the tramp, running around with them. They keep me pretty busy. But as he mentioned, we do a fair bit of traveling, and sports take up. That's really when I travel, I like to go to a sporting event.
I should let you know that we do have 4 grandchildren. So 2 that Austyn mentioned. We have also 2 little girls that are grandchildren. So very often they take priority over everything else I said. And that's where our go-to is. If we have time for hobbies, grandkids.
What's your idea for success in your personal life, Dad?
Where'd that question come from? Time, peace, happiness.
Yeah, certainly inside of our business and for our clients, we think of success as when we've done such a great job for a client that they feel comfortable introducing us to someone else they know. I think at that point, that's how we know we've had a successful impact on their financial future. For me personally, it comes back to just time and family. I know that I feel as if I've been successful if I'm able to serve my clients, but also spend time with my family and make sure, especially with my 2 boys, that they get taught they have the financial education that I received growing up, and that they're able to start their own lives successfully. Dad, what's your proudest achievement?
I'd like to think that I haven't had it yet. The future's very bright. I think that there's great achievements to come. But I would say from a business perspective, it is running a successful, thriving business.
I can second that. I'd probably go with my proudest achievement to date so far is, I guess maybe it's more my wife's proudest achievement, but I was involved having 2 children and seeing the successes that they have. Before we wrap things up here, Dad, let's just spend a little bit of time talking about why clients hire us, why someone engages in our services.
I guess to put it in perspective, most everybody that hires us has good advisors. They have a good CPA, they have a good attorney. They've done some level of financial planning or investment work or insurance work. And so the question becomes, well, if I've got good advisors and I've done these things, what do I need you for? And I think the answer to that question is coordination, or better put, a lack of coordination, really to take their planning to its highest level. Our value proposition is we're going to provide you creative design. We're going to coordinate with your other professional advisors. And that's not just lip service. That's something we excel at, bringing that team together, because we believe that clients can serve their very best when a CPA and the estate planning attorney and the financial advisor are working together. But ultimately, we are the catalyst to get things done. The value is in the doing. So we can share all the ideas we want and coordinate all we want, but if nothing gets done, there's no value created. So we make it happen. We get people to a very confident, clear place in their financial lives and essentially make order out of chaos. So that's our value proposition to our clients.
Yeah. And I think that leads well into the reason that we're starting this podcast, and really our intentions here are to help educate our clients as well as prospective clients and others on how they can achieve that level of confidence. And whether it's a business owner who's looking for a way to attract employees or transition that business to their family or someone outside of the family, or if it's a young professional just getting started in their career, making sure they want to get started on the right track, this podcast will touch on all of those issues. And over time, we'll have other professionals on in specific areas to bring some of these creative ideas that we've talked about to the forefront and really help educate, bring that confidence to people's financial life. So the best way to reach out to us would be to hit our website, which is www.whittenburgwealth.com. And there will be a contact now button there that will get you in direct contact with me. We'll also drop that information in the show notes here with the links to our calendar and our website.
Dan and Austyn, thank you so much for introducing yourselves to us. Very, very interesting. You sound like some very special people. Now, for listeners, to make sure you know when the next episode of Wealth of Insight is ready for you, be ready to subscribe to this podcast and, of course, share it with friends and colleagues.
Thank you for listening to the Wealth of Insight podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Proudest Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Proudest Wealth Partners and Whittenburg Wealth Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Whittenburg Wealth Partners. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.